The desert gale produces a steady beat of sand against a wall of your tent. Every now and again, the force of the wind still manages to make your fire flicker despite your best efforts to seal yourselves in. You huddle close to your companions to conserve some warmth in the cold desert night, and the brandy makes its way around the circle as you regale each other with tales from before you began adventuring together. The anecdotes keep you from hearing the howls of the desert jackals until they are close. Very close. The samurai slowly reaches back and grabs his katana. Your cleric grips two hands on his warhammer, and the sound of the canine's pads crunching sand can be heard approaching your encampment. And just when you think a jackal would round the corner, a man in worn and tattered clothing and an empty ceramic mug falls drunkenly onto a pillow near your fire, the howls of jackals punctuating his drop. Your companions make no move to relinquish their weapons, regardless of how harmless the stranger seems. Drink? He asks, looking at you through his shaggy hair past his huge tan beard. Could you help out a lost fellow traveler? He must have bit his tongue because at the end of the sentence he winced in pain, but extends his cup out to you. You make eye contact, and his eyes shimmer in the low light. Roll an insight check.
Hey there, creatures, and welcome to Encounter This, a podcast exploration of the creatures from Dungeons & Dragons and the lore that surrounds them.
Hello there, listeners, and welcome to another episode of Encounter This. I am Freeman Lucan Easton, I think that's what I am. And my co-host and cohort, James Therianthrope Kid, will be taking us through this, what I assume is a therianthropic creature known as the Jackalwere, which can be found on in the monster manual on page 159?
193.
193. James told me off mic, and I forgot it already. All right, Jackalwere. I assumed by the name alone that it would be a therianthrope, which we've somewhat covered before in some ways, or we've mentioned before at least. But do tell more. Do tell more.
Yeah. So I went with this nickname because it was actually like an alias that I went by as a kid. I was in this like pop punk emo band where everybody had these like metal-ish nicknames, and I went by Thrope, like the last half of this word.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. So my band name was Therian. It was James Therianthrope.
Okay. I love it.
I figured that would be a nice shout out to my childhood band.
Who are definitely listening?
The one or two of you who actually bought the CDs. So.
And now use them as coasters, right?
I actually don't have one of these CDs. I have a cassette. So this was back in like 2002, 2003, and we were poor kids, so we recorded onto like the Zoom cassette player, and then we recorded off the Zoom cassette player onto a computer, which we then burned CDs from. So I have the master cassette floating around somewhere, but it's not a CD, nor do I have any way to play it.
Yeah, I don't remember last time I owned something that played a cassette. I don't even think I own anything that plays a CD, to be honest. Oh no, I've got a PS4. I assume that plays CDs. I don't have any discs for it, though.
Yeah, I have a couple of ways to play CDs, but I can, like, I never think about it. I haven't had physical media in, I don't know, a decade.
So long, yeah. Speaking of CDs, tell us what the Jackalwere.
Yeah, so let's just address your question. These are not therianthropes.
Oh, okay. Never mind that.
5e refers to these as antherion, and they're not actually included with therianthropes in the monster manual, which is mislabeled as lycanthropes.
Right.
The name therianthrope comes from Greek therion, meaning wild animal or beast, and anthropos, meaning human.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Lucan, which is the root word of lichen in lycanthrope, directly translates to wolf. So lycanthrope means wolf human, whereas therianthrope means beast human or animal human.
Mm-hmm.
So anything that's not a wolf is not a lycanthrope.
Right. Yeah. And I don't know if we've touched on it before. I feel like we have. I know we've talked about it a lot off bike. And Pathfinder has the same issue. They just put it under a lycanthropy. But those werebears and were-tigers and all that, yeah, no, they're not lycanthropes. They are therianthropes.
Yeah. In the D&D parlance, these are called antherions or antherions, which is probably clever wordplay using the prefix an, either meaning anti or as a prefix to anthropos and making another portmanteau. So an anti-beast or human beast instead of beast human.
Okay, so they're just changing the direction of it. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. These are beasts that change into humanoid forms versus therianthropy, which are humans that transform into beast forms.
Oh, okay. I'm following you. The order of operations is different.
It is, yeah, and it's really cool that they actually separated it, and we see that a couple of times in D&D lore. In 5e exclusively with the Jackalwere, but in 1 and 2e we see it with the Wolfwere, and in 2e specifically in the Mastika setting we see it with the Kotalwere, which is a were-coyote.
Okay, crazy.
And anthropathy is not passed via bite. It's genetically passed off to their offspring. And creatures that are anthropes are usually suffixed with were as opposed to prefixed, like we see in werebear or were-rat.
Mm-hmm.
And they are like disparate enemies of therianthropes. These two types of creatures just hate each other.
Okay. Sure, it's some egotistical idea of we're the purest form. No, we're the purest form. Blah, blah,
yeah,
blah, blah.
It's very possible. But the Jackalweres and the other wares have 3 forms. One is their true form, which in the antherion parlance is a jackal, which stands about 9 meters or 0.9 meters tall or about 3 feet.
Mm-hmm.
And these are known to be much more aggressive than regular jackals. They have a human form, which is a more haggard form of a human, but also still indistinguishable. Think of like a wino who's slept in an alleyway for a couple of weeks.
Right. Okay.
The interesting part about the antherions is their human forms are not fixed. So after it changes into a human, it can then change back into a jackal, and then it can change into a different looking human.
Oh, okay. So they don't have a set human form.
Yeah, because their true form is the jackal.
Right. Okay. Really, just kind of just shows you, if usually you would theme the color of your werewolf in your wolf form like based on your own hair or something like that. But I guess it stands to reason that you don't have to change it up. Maybe.
In this, yeah, it seems that way. Even though they're always like haggard, they're always rough looking.
Yeah. Although I guess that at the end of the day, this sounds like the Jackalwere has like more control over it, whereas an actual lycanthrope would be very much less in control overall. You learn to control it to some degree, but yeah.
Yeah, and they also have the hybrid form, which the lycanthropes have, which is in this case a bipedal jackal, which is about 6 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what we see in the artwork throughout the editions. We don't really see the true form or the human form. In 1E, it's this really nice black and white sketch of a jackal with opposable thumbs.
Yeah, just chewing on a bone.
Yeah, the 2E art looks like a villain from a 60s Spider-Man comic.
Yep, definitely.
The 3E art just looks awesome.
Like, so good. I love that. It's just like standing over a fallen something. He killed another, maybe a Jackalwere or some other animal beast, human thing. Man, yeah, it looks ready to fuck something up.
Yeah, cleaning its scimitar off. Yeah. The 4E art looks like a more modern, like a Werewolf by Night cover.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, really kind of indistinguishable that it's a jackal.
Yeah.
Or that it's a Jackalwere versus just like a were-jackal.
Mm-hmm.
And the 5E art, I really like. It's really scruffy.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate the backwards bend of the knees.
Mm-hmm.
It really it's the first one that truly looks like a hybrid form as opposed to something that's just been anthropomorphized.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, between the 5E and the 3E art, it's super badass.
Yeah, the 3E art's just metal as hell. But
yeah.
There's something about the backward bend knees that really screams hybrid form to me.
Yeah. It's the only one that has that too, eh? Damn.
Yeah. So these things are like all creatures, it seems, that we've covered in the last year. Their origin story is changes between the editions. So one thing that remains true is that they could have been the result of someone messing with a trickster entity. So like some human just fucks with a trickster entity so hard that it animates these jackals.
Mm-hmm.
And because it was animated by a trickster entity, they were born to lie, and they wince in pain when they speak the truth.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, the result of them messing with a trickster entity is from a previous edition, but the wincing in pain when they speak the truth is still true in 5e, and we'll see why that kind of becomes a conflict of creationism here.
Mm-hmm.
In other editions, they were the result of a combat between the gods and primordials, and the primordials used the animals to rise up and as like foot soldiers in their war.
Mm-hmm.
And it said that they were, after that war, they created a nation of great intellect, but they were left for ruin after the conflict and became at odds with their demonic nature, which again is a little more tied into 5e, because in 5e they're just uplifted jackals from Gratz. So very, very similar to our gnolls.
Right. Okay. It's just like they've simplified the hell out of it.
Yep. And Gratz empowers them specifically to serve Lamia, which we talked about a couple of episodes ago.
Right.
And because they have this ability to shift between jackal and human form, Lamias use them to kidnap other humans, whether it be from civilizations or from like merchant parties or what have you, bring them back to them, and then they'll await their fate at the hands of the Lamia. If you haven't listened to that episode, it gets kind of dark. I don't really want to get into it here, so go check that out. That's episode 74, I think.
Sounds right.
And Gratz gave them the ability to speak as well, so they can assume speech in their human form.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. So they just seem, I don't know, it all seems a little bit scattered. Like,
yeah, there really is no consistency with the creation mythos in these creatures.
There's that conflict and in origin, and they are basically created or uplifted in whatever way you want to claim, specifically to just like serve Lamia, and that's it. That's like their whole story.
That's their whole story in 5e. It's like 1/4 of one paragraph.
Wow, they gave these guys a lot of love. Oh, the stat block's really good.
It's actually not bad, believe it or not. Yeah. So they, because they're wild animals at heart, they prefer the company of their own kind and other jackals, and they will live in packs in their true form with like real jackals.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Young Jackalweres, as opposed to jackals, are called bravos.
Okay.
And if you Google Jackal Bravo, you will get something called a Delta Jackal Bravo, and it is fucking horrifying. It is this terrifying looking machine gun.
Oh, machine gun. Jesus.
Yeah, it really is. I think Jackal might be the cover color, but I just got the fuck off that page. You know how I feel about firearms.
Yeah, forget that nonsense.
The most feral of the Jackalwere are called harriers. The definition of a harrier is a person who engages persistent attacks on others or defends their territory. So these are just like rampant, wild, angry Jackalweres. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And according to 1E, they mate in pairs, but can only do so in their true jackal form. And they tend to have the same litter as a regular jackal, which is 1 to 4 pups. And at 3 years, the Jackalweres were considered fully grown and could then assume human form.
Mm-hmm.
Not consistent in 5e.
Yeah.
5e, they're just uplifted jackals from Gratz, and there's no mention of reproduction at all.
I mean, 5e almost never does bring it up.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. They kind of sound like guerrilla forces, forced to defend their home. So far, I'm just... I'm bored. I gotta say, I'm kind of bored by this creature.
Fair enough.
There's.
I get it. They're not particularly interesting.
Yeah.
They do have one thing that kind of threw me through a loop here.
Mm-hmm.
In combat, they primarily attempt to lure other human beings into a trap. So they'll turn into their human form and then lure them into a trap with other werejackals or other jackals.
Mm-hmm.
They will then transform into hybrid form and attempt to drag them off to their Lamia or to the pack to be eaten.
Okay.
If this trap fails, they will rely on its magical gaze, which is usable in any form, and it lulls the victim into a 10-minute trance, putting them to sleep.
Wouldn't that just be the trap? Just to gaze at them?
Yep.
What?
Older editions, man.
Yep. Yeah. Okay.
And older editions, this could also lead to hypnotism for those with a more robust mental fortitude.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose, like, it does make a little bit of sense. It might be a last ditch stand, because assuming it comes with a saving throw, you want the trap to do the dirty work first, and then take the risk of getting up and close. I assume the gaze isn't from like 100 feet away, so
yeah, it's not. They prefer slashing weapons because they have a bloodlust that's mentioned in a throwaway paragraph, though they do also employ their claws and their fangs.
Okay.
And they love the taste of flesh so much that fallen victims will quickly be consumed, regardless of the form the jackal is currently in. So if it kills somebody in human form, it will bend down and just start cannibalizing them.
That's a quick giveaway, isn't it?
A little bit, yeah.
Don't get into a bar fight with the human form Jackalwere. Might be in trouble.
But that's it. They've been in 5 editions, and that's all the love they've ever been given.
Wow.
Yeah, this is a first. There are only 6 references or 6 footnotes on Forgotten Realms, as opposed to the 20 or 30 we normally get.
Right.
And they're all monster manuals.
Crazy. I almost wonder it's just like they've always focused on their misnomer of lycanthropes because people are just more familiar with werewolves and probably geared towards that. You'd think they would, conversely just give some love to these guys, especially if they're arch enemies. Like having detail on opposing sides of things that are similar, like the Gith we were talking about in the last episode. They have these 2 distinct sides that have been given a good amount of love, that hate each other. Why not here? This would have been way more interesting.
I also think this is just such a cool idea as opposed to, humans transforming into animals. I love the concept of animals transforming into humans and taking on that form and being like a little rabid and vicious. And I think these are kind of a perfect enemy.
Yeah. It really gives that, like, you said uplifted, and we've played games where we had awakened creatures, and it's just like, oh, that's super cool to just like have this animal at its base that's more intelligent, and in this case, like, with these different forms and varying degrees of power. I mean, it could be a hell of a lot neater instead of Grast, said, hey, jackals, you go serve them, here's a tiny bit of power, moving on. That's not good lore.
No, this so I wrote a Null campaign way back, but doing this and the Lamia research makes me want to go back and revisit it. And it's just like and change the premise of like these gnolls moving in on the home of a Lamia who uses Jackalweres as like their foot soldiers, but tries to convince the party that she's better off, or he is better off as the ruler of that particular swath of land.
Right.
Tries to get the party to fight with these Jackalweres against this Gnoll company.
Yeah. Just give a little intrigue, a little something. I like it. Yeah.
There's also not a whole lot of cultural lore out there. And by that, I mean, I know that I can think of examples of animals turning into humans. So not being able to come up with any cultural lore or pop culture versions, which is, something I'm normally pretty good at off the cuff. I turned and did something that I don't often do, and I just Googled the concept. So I Googled animals that become human. And the first result is therianthrope. And what animal can humans turn into? Which reads like it's serious.
Okay.
I don't want to yuck anybody's yum here, but you crazy dog. So I promise the listeners that we will have a lifetime worth of sources and facts coming down the pipe when we tackle therianthropes, which I think I'm going to make the effort to do in the near future, which might just be a 2-parter.
Sweet. That'd be fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be a cool one.
There's like 5 stat blocks under lycanthropy. So
yeah, there is. Yeah. And there's also like an entire civilization's worth of cultural lore.
Yeah. No small amount.
No. I think the first reference in writing is in the Epic of Gilgamesh, which, for the listeners who don't know, is the first evidence of writing.
Indeed.
So we have a couple very limited Jackal facts here. The return of the fan favorite segment, Jackal facts.
Yay, jackals.
And there are only 3 types of jackal. There are the side-striped jackal, the golden jackal, and the black-backed jackal. And exactly what you're picturing when I tell you those names is exactly what they look like. They're primarily found in Africa, but can be found in like Southeast Asia and Asia.
Mm-hmm.
The striped prefer tropical areas, where the golden prefer deserts, and the black-backed prefer whatever's in between.
Canada.
Yeah.
The old Canadian jackal.
They're omnivorous and territorial, and their biggest predators are leopards, hyenas, and eagles, with eagles having a particular fondness for jackal pups, which just blew my fucking mind.
Hilarious. Also, at first I thought you said eels. I was like, how are eels killing jackals? Tell me more.
Also be fantastic.
Yeah. So what you're telling me is eagles have a real life example of some of the weird ones we get in D&D, where it's like, oh, this evil creature loves the taste of human flesh specifically. So eagles just love jackal pups.
Love jackal pups. Jackal pups so and weird. Salmon.
Yeah.
Yeah. And jackals, like hyenas, are very vocal, and they love to communicate, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Each family of jackal has its own unique yipping sound, so like kind of like our surname, so they can be identified from far away, which I thought was really cool.
That is cool, yeah.
And side-striped jackals can hoot like owls to confuse their prey.
That's awesome.
I found that very late in my research, so I don't have a sample of it, but I will try and find one before we post, because that just sounds fantastic. But that is what could loosely be defined as cultural lore.
We've all been down this road.
Lore may not be applicable in this case, considering they are cultural facts.
These are our fun facts.
Yeah, fun facts. There we
go.
Fun
facts section.
Jackal facts.
Fun Jackal facts by James and Freeman.
But since the disappointment, as I'm sure the listeners can anticipate, doesn't end there, I'm going to need a drink before we get into the mechanics.
Oh man, yeah, like that was just horribly boring. For such great artwork too. It looks amazing. The artists should be kicking themselves to be like, man, I did all this work, and what did they do with it? Slapped it on a page with hardly any letters.
Be proud of your artwork. It is gorgeous.
Yeah.
But there are only 5 paragraphs, I think, well, maybe 6 paragraphs on the Jackal page, and they're not great or descriptive. So I'm gonna fall into this can of blackmail from Strange Fellows Brewing, and that will lighten me up.
You just got a can? I brought a whole vat today.
Ah, smart.
I'm bathing in it. My microphone precariously balancing over the edge.
All right, let's take a swim through this stat block then.
CR
1/2.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
AC 12, HP 18.
Oh, no love at all. None.
Medium humanoid, chaotic evil, but a 40-foot movement speed, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah, that's good.
And they are just straight up immune to bludgeoning, piercing, slashing from non-magical or non-silvered weapons.
Immune? Wow, okay. That's big. That is very big.
I think that's probably a typo, but it's under immunities. So here we are.
I mean,
CR 1/2, just straight up immune.
Crazy. Because that has to automatically make them far deadlier at level 1. You know, only your magic casters can do damage to it.
Yep.
Again, depending on party makeup, but geez, immune? Wild.
Yep. So I think that's either a typo or their CR is a typo. I didn't look into any errata because I don't ever look into any errata, but I feel like this might be one of the few creatures that have been errata.
Yeah, it's possible, yeah.
And in previous editions, they had dark vision and low light vision, but nothing in 5e, no love, which is insane because jackals, like wolves, can see pretty well in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
They do have a couple of abilities, which I'm not upset by. The first one is Shape Changer, which is the one action to polymorph into a specific medium humanoid or hybrid creature, or back into its true form, which is a small jackal.
Mm-hmm.
Keen hearing and smell, which we see from pretty much all the canines. Advantage on perception with hearing or smells. And one of my favorite abilities that I don't think we see nearly often enough, pack tactics. So they have advantage on attacks if an ally that isn't capacitated is within 5 feet of the target.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, that can also be kind of dangerous. Going back slightly, is it not a bit strange that these are supposed to be jackals first and shape change to humanoid form, but they are baseline considered a humanoid?
Yeah, so the reason they're considered a humanoid is because this subtype shapechanger is a subtype of humanoid.
Oh, okay. They got a subtype. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so they have a subtype shapechanger, which is a subtype of humanoid.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Whereas shapechanger should just be its own subtype. It's not in 5e for whatever reason.
Yeah, it's just like not that I can never really remember, because I don't think there are that many spells in 5e that are very specific about creature type, but there are ones that that definitely are. So it's like, I don't know if it's command, maybe like it has to be on a humanoid or something like that. So
yeah, and things like polymorph don't work on shape changers. So.
Right. Yeah.
They have a few attacks here. The first is Bite from their Jackal and Hybrid form, which is a +4 to hit, 1d4 +2 piercing.
Okay.
The second is a Scimitar in their Hybrid or Human form because of their penchant for slashing weapons, which is also a +4 and 1d6 +2 slashing. And their last one is that magical Sleep Gaze that we just barely touched on because it's barely touched on. One creature can see within 30 feet. It is a DC 10 Wisdom save, which is in line with its half CR. A fail, the creature is magically put to sleep for 10 minutes or until one action is spent to wake them. If they succeed, they are immune for 24 hours, and undead and other creatures that are immune to charm are immune to this effect.
Okay. Yeah, single target too. That makes it even more justifiable that it's a last ditch stand kind of approach. Yeah, and low save on that. Yeah. I mean, I get confused. If they're so willingly switching between forms for their tactics and stuff too, like, where are they keeping the scimitars when they're in jackal form?
That's part of the shape changer ability. Is that all of their gear and clothing changes with them?
Cool.
I just never write it down. It's like it reverts to its true form and it dies. Like, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. It's just like, it's just another Hulk in his purple shorts effect, Don't question it.
Pretty much.
Always going to work out.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know that you were bored.
Yeah.
I actually like this creature.
Yeah.
I don't like this creature as is, but as like a first iteration, I think this is a lot of potential for homebrew, and that's why I like it.
Well, see, I was the most interested when you were talking about the difference between these creatures and therianthropes. That's what I was the most different. But that's not D&D lore. That's just, like, I didn't really realize there was a whole, animal to change into human form. I just thought therianthropes, lycanthropes, and that sort of thing were the baseline. So the fact there's this sort of inverted one and whatever, I think that's really cool. The rest of it I found very boring, with the exception of the speak the truth thing, which I think is a neat little thing. Maybe a little more love as to why that's the case and whatnot. But it makes for a very interesting way of role playing. But we actually really tough to do, I think. Because I think as DMs, we're so used to skirting around the truth, Oh,
yeah.
But skirting around a lie, to make it sound like the truth. I don't know. It's kind of twists my brain a bit.
I think we've read enough Robert Jordan that we could handle it.
Yeah. They can't tell the truth. That's so, yeah. So that's just, I guess my brain going a little bit. But otherwise, it's just, generally, I think the idea at its core is great. It just needs more love. It just needs some love.
Yeah, this really feels like it was just a template slapped on these creatures with no extra work done, which, is fine. That's where people like us come in and we get to homebrew it. I'm not looking at this creature seeing, pure disappointment like sometimes I do. I'm looking at this creature and seeing an amazing primer to like the first arc of a desert campaign.
And some major potential, yeah.
Honestly, like this could easily just be slapped around. You could slap any null stat block on this and it would work just fine.
Yeah.
You keep the shape changer ability and then just boom, all of a sudden this is a null, like you just slap a null stat block on here or an orc stat block.
Yeah, totally. Just start changing the weapons around, you can, but you don't have to stick with slashing weapons. I mean, piercing weapons will cause you bleed just as easily.
Yeah, in the lore, it's specific about slashing weapons.
Mm-hmm.
But, stuff like that doesn't really matter to me.
Yeah.
I would also probably change the shape changer ability to a bonus action because I hate my players. Yeah. What? How much more interesting would it be to see, like, in your middle combat, instead of taking an action to transform into this jackal, into a jackal humanoid, it runs at you in the jackal with the jackal speed, bonus action transform,
100%,
and then slashes at you with its fangs.
Like, I am for it. It's one of my biggest gripes with the druid in 5e is that it takes an action to transform unless you go that certain circle of the moon or something.
Circle of the moon. Yeah.
It's like, why not just have a bonus action? Because you still have very limited uses across the board. So if you're going to keep the limited uses, make it a bonus action. And then, like, as it stands, some of the rules in that are very overpowered, based on the scenario where if you drop to 0 HP while in animal form, you revert back to the HP you were before, which I think 5e is the only system that really does that, which can really make you powerful. You can just leap off a cliff as a rat, and know you're going to survive no matter what the distance is that by the rules is written, right? But, like, take that away, and give the moon something like that, circle the moon, something like that, or like a huge or bigger boost in, like, HP and stuff like that, the circle the moon. But otherwise, just make them bonus. Like, and with you, the shape change, that could be so much more interesting of a combat to just, like, see that happening in quick succession, and it'd be so unnerving. And 5e is just not deadly enough, so bring it on. There's a part of me that just wishes I would die more. I came so close so many times. Like, I can't believe I've survived this. If this was Pathfinder, I would have died.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't see why. Like, even at CR 1/2, if you're going to run this at CR 1/2, which I don't think you should, because of that damage immunity to me just spells CR 2 immediately.
Yeah, that's really big. Yeah.
Anytime a creature has polymorph, I would pretty much change it into a bonus action. It's just more cinematic, thematic. Like, one hit from a level 2 barbarian is going to destroy this creature. So.
Right. Yeah. Well, level 1, if you like, you have your party's made up of, like, someone's got a rogue, and then someone made a barbarian, and then someone made a ranger, and then someone made the wizard. And you're like, guess what? Only the wizard can do damage to this thing. You're level 1, and, like, no one can hurt it. That's huge. Or like only 1 out of 4. Like, oof.
Yep.
Yeah. That's
because how often I've played casters a whole bunch, and I almost never take magic weapon.
Right. Yeah. Why would you? I mean, you're reasonably, it's considered to be getting at least a +1 fairly early on in 5e.
Yep.
And then that overcomes the vast majority of resistances and immunities in these stat blocks, especially all these ones that you hope are higher, but they just aren't.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are level 9.
Think so. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, I don't even ask you anymore. I just assume that you all have +1 weapons.
Yeah, definitely do. I think we all do. I hope we all do.
Yeah. So I mean, by level 3, 4, like, the party should have their first magical weapon. If you're gonna play with, like, non-silvered and stuff like that, or like silver or adamantine or cold iron or whatever, if you're gonna add that stuff into your campaign, then this could be a more interesting creature. But I don't know, man.
Yeah.
CR half.
Yeah, and I looked it up on D&D Beyond, which should be the most up-to-date source as far as errata goes, and they are still 1/2 on there. So,
okay, is it still listed as an immunity then, as opposed to
it
resistance?
Yes.
Crazy.
Everything, the cursory glance looks to be the same.
If we ever do this full time, I would like to run, like, just little combat scenarios with these creatures.
Just test them out.
Yeah, so like, whoever's presenting the creature just runs a single combat with 4 PCs, and we just test them out before we come into these episodes, because I legitimately don't understand that CR or how that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, we've said that about 1,000 times as well, and I think the community in general, especially those, not to sound elitist at this point, but especially those who play Pathfinder, it's like one of the biggest gripes about the CR system in 5e and, like, the previous editions, and probably even Pathfinder 1e to some degree, is that it's almost never a proper representation of its actual challenge. And the higher level you get, the less likely it's going to make sense.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I get that the math doesn't scale, but
right.
This is one of the few that seems way off to me, like way off, just because of how the game is played, not because of the creature. The creature, is a CR 1/2 realistically.
Yeah.
But because of that DI, because of how the game is played, because of how most GMs run their games, this all of a sudden is no longer a CR 1/2.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder if this creature was made before the game was finalized.
Yeah. The fact that the only thing I can think about it is that its attacks are quite weak, and it doesn't have multi-attack. Like even some like CR1 creatures can have multi-attack or some such. And they have pack tactics, but they don't have, what was that one? The war cry, where they can have others attack.
War cry. Allies can attack with a bonus action to give allies a free attack.
Yeah. So it doesn't have anything in those directions. So everything it's doing is going to it's basically costing its full action. So it's got to move in an action. It's got no bonus action economy at all, unless you change that shape changer, which is fun. But otherwise, yeah, like they aren't really hyper offensive at all. They are just have this incredible defense option that may or may not keep them alive because they got a very low AC and low HP. Yeah, it's like if you happen to have a martial forward build, and then it's going to take a while to take this thing down, but it's not actually going to put you in any danger, I don't think. So maybe that's why it's still only half. It's not a deadly creature.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, like what is a barbarian's average HP at level 1? Like 16?
Something like that, probably, yeah.
It's full HP plus your con at first level, right?
I think so.
We are so bad at this game.
It's been a while since I built a new character.
Yeah, so barbarian would be 12 plus your con modifier. If you're doing a barbarian, you're probably going to...
So 16 would be your max, I think.
Yeah.
16 or 17, yeah.
So, I mean, 3 attacks isn't far off.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, three hits with that scimitar, and chances are, like, law of averages says you're going down in 3 or 4. So if you can't damage this thing, then... What do you do? Like, how do you teach a level 1 party to retreat?
It's the long con, right? At the end of the day, it could be deadly, but only if it's like, the fight just goes on and on and on.
Yeah, and it is written into the 5e lore that they're cowards, but it's not really expanded upon at all, so I didn't really put it in there. So you as a DM have the option to get them the fuck out of there because they're overwhelmed or overpowered or what have you, but I would never run just a Jackalwere. Like, I'd throw a couple of jackals in with it, if not 2 or 3 more Jackalweres.
I mean, and if these things are serving the Lamia, like, probably in the lair, amongst other creatures.
Yeah, I love the idea of her having, like, this army of Jackalwere.
Yeah, oh, man, Jackalwere Honor Guard?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Give them some big-ass 2-handed scimitars.
Yeah, like if you're gonna go that route, like take a couple of angels and reskin them.
Yeah, oh, that would be sick. I'm all for it.
Like a Jackalwere Deva.
Yeah.
But that's it for me.
That's all I got.
Well, what about you listeners? Can you justify this CR 1/2 stat block? If you can, feel free to shoot us an email at info@encounterthis.ca. If you are from the future and you don't partake in emails, you can always hit us up on Twitter or Facebook at EncounterPod, or you can see these images on Instagram.com/encounter.pod. You can check out our past episodes like the Lamia that we suggested at our home on the web at encounterthis.ca. And if you like this, you can always head over to patreon.com/encounterpod, where $5 a month will get you a handwritten letter and access to our show notes. And for $10 a month, you can suggest a creature. Maybe you want to force us into that therianthrope suite sooner than we're ready for. $10 will get you there. And if you want to help us out for free and you have a couple of seconds on your hand, rating and reviewing on your platform of choice always helps us out, whether it be on Apple Podcasts or... And if you aren't sick of us yet, we have another show out called Stemming the Tide. It's an actual play of a Pathfinder 2e adventure path, The Abomination Vaults, that Freeman is GMing and I am ruining for him.
Oh man, if you think I don't talk enough on this podcast already, go listen to that one.
And that is available as well on all major platforms, and the home on the web is unchartednorth.ca, because that is the name of our up and coming actual play network, and the show is Stemming the Tide, as a reminder.
Yes.
Thank you all so much for listening. And we will get at you in 2 weeks where we make another return to the desert, if I'm not mistaken.
Mayhaps. I genuinely don't know, though.
Okay.